Sit properly. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivadvaita Gopala Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna. Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna. Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mata's Dandavad Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining Japa call and reading calls. So let me share 1 second. Yeah, let us begin with the Prachana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nite Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pucharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 7th chapter, entitled as Lord Sri Chaitanya in 5 features. So let me share the verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
You're able to see Mataji? 1 second.
Able to see, but there was nothing audible, so I got it out.
You're not audible?
Now you are audible, Prabhuji. In between there was like silence.
Okay. Okay, 1 second, Mata, sorry.
Hare Krishna.
129 verse.
You are sharing something, Prabhuji?
You're able to see now, Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji, now.
Yes, we are able to see now.
Yeah. Please begin, Mataji, from here. 129 verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is the purpose of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to present Pranava Omkara as a reservoir of all Vedic knowledge. The words Tat Tvam Asi are only a partial explanation of the Vedic knowledge. Purport. Tat Tvam Asi means you are the same spiritual identity.
Yeah. Samyukta Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Pranava Omkara is the Mahavakya, Mahamantra in the Vedas. Shankaracharya's followers cover this to stress without authority the mantra Tattvam Asi. Purport. The Mayavadi philosophers stress the statements Tattvam Asi, Soham, etc. But they do not stress the real Mahamantra Pranava Omkara. Therefore, because they misrepresent Vedic knowledge, they are the greatest offenders to the lotus feet of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says clearly, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi. Mayavadi philosophers are the greatest offenders to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna declares, Tan aham visataha kruran samasareshu naradhaman. Krismapi ajashram ashubhan asurisv eva yonishu. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among mankind, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence into various demonic spaces of life. Bhagavad Gita 16.19. Life in demonic spaces awaits the Mayavadi philosophers after death because they are envious of Krishna. When Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.34, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Mad Yaji Mam Namaskuru. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisance to me and worship me. One demonic scholar says that it is not Krishna to whom one must surrender. This scholar is already suffering in this life and he will have to suffer again in the next life. If in this life he does not complete his prescribed suffering. One should be very careful not be envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the next verse, therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clearly states the purport of the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, thank you. Sandhya Mataji, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In all the Vedic sutras and literatures, it is Lord Krishna who is to be understood, but the followers of Shankaracharya have covered the real meaning of the Vedas with indirect explanations. purport it is said, Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane, Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adav Antecha Madhecha Hariha Sarvatra Giyate. In the Vedic literature, including the Ramayana, Puranas, and Mahabharata, from the very beginning, Adav, to the end, Antecha, as well as within the middle, Madhecha, only Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is explained.
Okay, now the beautiful verse. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adav Antecha Madhyecha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. Nice. Thank you, Mataji. Lavanya, you want to read? You want to read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Translation. The self-evident Vedic literatures are the highest evidence of all, but if these literatures are imprinted, their self-evident nature is lost. But by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We quote Vedic evidence to support our statements, but if we interpret it according to our own judgment, the authority of the Vedic literature is rendered imperfect or useless. In other words, by interpreting the Vedic version, one minimizes the value of Vedic evidence. When one quotes from Vedic literature, it is understood that the quotations are authoritative. How can one bring the authority under his control? That is the case of Principis Obsta.
Principis Obsta. Okay. Thank you. Saraswati Mata, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. To prove their philosophy, the members of the Mayavada school have given up the real, easily understood meaning of the Vedic literature and introduced indirect meanings based on their imaginative powers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Unfortunately, the Sankarite interpretation has covered almost the entire world. Therefore, there is a great need to present the original, easily understood, natural import of the Vedic literature. We have therefore begun by presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we propose to present all the Vedic literatures in terms of the direct meaning of its words. Hare Krishna.
Shankarite means Shankaravada philosophy. Shankarites and Adi Shankaracharya followers. Yeah, Shankarite. I am seeing some Mataji. Swapna Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please go ahead and read this one.
Translation, Prabhuji.
Yeah, translation.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus showed for each and every sutra the defects in Shankaracharya's explanations, all the assembled Mayavadi sannyasis were struck with wonder.
Thank you. You can read this also. Please read this also.
All synonyms, Prabhuji?
No. Translation only. We are reading translations.
Okay. All the Mayavadi sannyasis said, Your Holiness, kindly know from us that we actually have no quarrel with your refutation of these meanings. For you have given a clear understanding of the sutras.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Hakincham Prabhu, please read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We know that all this world jugglery springs from the imagination of Shankaracharya, and yet because we belong to his sect, we accept it, although it does not satisfy us.
Read this also.
Now let us see the Mayavadi sannyasis continued. How well you can describe the sutras in terms of their direct meaning. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his direct explanation of Vedanta Sutra.
Nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Raju Prabhu, please read. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Translation: Brahman, who is greater than the greatest, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is full in 6 appearances, and therefore he is the reservoir of ultimate truth and absolute knowledge. Purport: in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the absolute truth is understood in 3 phases of relation: the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma are expansion of the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the complete in 6 appearances, namely wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Since he possesses his 6 appearances, the personality of Godhead is the ultimate truth in absolute knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Aryan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guruji.
Yes,
Translation. In his original form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full of transcendental opulence, which are free from the contamination of the material world. It is to be understood that in all Vedic literature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, it is to be understood that in all Vedic literature, Supreme Personality of God is the ultimate goal. Anybody remembers the verse? We frequently repeat. It is to be understood that in all Vedic literature, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal.
Vedascha sarves ahameva vidya.
Yes, Mother. Vedanta, I am the compiler and I am the knower of the Vedas. Okay, thank you, Mataji. I am seeing Srinivas Sanapala Prabhu. Haribol, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Ki Jai. When we speak of Supreme as impersonal, we deny his spiritual potencies. Logically, if you accept half of the truth, you cannot understand the whole. Purport: in Upanishads, it is said that Om Purnam Adah Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam eva va siyate. This verse, which is mentioned in Ishopanishad, Brahad Aranyaka Upanishad and many other Upanishads indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in 6 opulences. His position is unique, for he possesses all riches, strength, influence, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Brahman means the greatest. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is greater than the greatest, just as sun globe is greater than the sunshine, which is all pervading in the universe. Although the sunshine that spreads all over the universe appears very great to the less knowledgeable, greater than the sunshine is the sun itself, and greater than the sun is the sun god. Similarly, impersonal Brahman is not the greatest, although it appears to be so. Impersonal Brahman is only the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the transcendental form of the Lord is greater than both the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma. Therefore, whenever the word Brahman is used in Vedic literature, it is understood to refer to Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. So we have to understand that whenever it refers to Brahman means Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. Thank you, Srinivas Prabhu.
Thank you.
Deepa Mata, continue again. Yes.
In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is also addressed as Parabrahman. Mayavadis and others sometimes misunderstand Brahman because every living entity is also Brahman. Therefore, Krishna is referred to as Parabrahman, the Supreme Brahman. In the Vedic literature, whenever the words Brahman or Parabrahman are used, they are to be understood to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. This is their real meaning. Since the entire Vedic literature deals with the subject of Brahman, Krishna is therefore the ultimate goal of Vedic understanding. The impersonal Brahma Jyoti rests on the personal form of the Lord. Therefore, although the impersonal effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti, is the first realization, one must enter into it, as mentioned in the Ishopanishad, to find the Supreme Person,
and then one's knowledge is perfect. The Bhagavad Gita 7.19 also confirms this. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapatyate. One's search for the absolute truth by dint of speculative knowledge is complete when one comes to the point of understanding Krishna and surrenders unto him. That is the real point of perfectional knowledge.
Continue, Mother. Please complete.
Partial realization of the absolute truth as impersonal Brahman denies the complete opulences of the Lord. This is a hazardous understanding of the absolute truth. Unless one accepts all the features of the absolute truth, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's knowledge is imperfect. Sripad Ramanujacharya in his Vedartha Sangraha says, Jnanena dharmena swarupam api nirupitam natu jnana matram brahmeti katham idam avagamyate. He thus indicates that the real identity of the absolute truth must be understood in terms of both his knowledge and his characteristics. Simply to understand the absolute truth, to be full of knowledge, is not sufficient. In the Vedic literature, Mundaka Upanishad 1.1.9, we find the statement, Yas sarvajna sarvavit, which means that the absolute truth knows everything perfectly, but we also learn from the Vedic description, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate, that not only does he know everything, but he also acts accordingly by utilizing his different energies. Thus, to understand that Brahman, the Supreme, is conscious is not sufficient. One must know how he consciously acts through his different energies. Mayavada philosophy simply informs us of the consciousness of the absolute truth, but does not give us information of how he acts with his consciousness. That is the defect of that philosophy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mother. Yes, thank you. Samyukta Mother, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. It is only by devotional service, beginning with hearing, that one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only means to approach him. Purport. Mayavadi philosophers are satisfied simply to understand Brahman to be the sum of total total of knowledge. But Vaishnava philosophers not only know in detail about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also know how to approach him directly. The method for this is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as 9 kinds of devotional service, beginning with hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. The 9 kinds of devotional service are hearing about Krishna, chanting about him, remembering him, offering service to his lotus feet, offering him worship in the temple, offering prayers to him, working as his servant, making friendship with him, and unreservedly surrendering to him. One can directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by executing these 9 kinds of devotional service, of which hearing about the Lord is the most important. Shravanadi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very favorably stressed the importance of this process of hearing. According to his method, if people are simply given a chance to hear about Krishna, certainly they will gradually develop their dormant awareness or love of Godhead. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaya Udaya. CC Madhya 22.107. Love of God is dormant in everyone, and if one is given a chance to hear about the Lord, certainly that love develops. Our Krishna consciousness movement acts on this principle. We simply give people the chance to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and give them prasadam to eat, and the actual result is that all over the world people are responding to this process and becoming pure devotees of Lord Krishna. We have opened hundreds of centers all over the world just to give people in general a chance to hear about Krishna and accept Krishna's prasadam. These two processes can be accepted by anyone, even a child. It doesn't matter whether one is poor or rich, learned or foolish, black or white, old or still a child. Anyone who simply hears about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and takes prasadam is certainly elevated to the transcendental position of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Shravanam, hearing, first to start with, about the Supreme Lord and his glories. Then gradually develops love of Godhead. Yeah. Progression, gradual progression. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. And Sandhya Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By practicing this regulated devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, certainly one awakens his dormant love of Godhead. This process is called Abhidheya purport. By the practice of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, the impure heart of a conditioned soul is purified, and thus he can understand his eternal relationship with Supreme Personality of Godhead. That eternal relationship is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. The living entity is an eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one is convinced about this relationship, which is called Sambandha. He then acts accordingly. That is called Abhidheya. The next step is Prayojana Siddhi or fulfillment of unlimited goal of one's life. Prabhuji, can someone read?
Yes, no problem. Sure. Lavanya, you want to read?
Yeah. Can I continue if from him?
Yeah. From highlighted, you can continue.
If one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and act accordingly, automatically his mission in life is fulfilled. The Mayavada philosopher miss even the first stage in self-realization because they have no conception of God's being personal. He is the master of all and he is the only person who can accept the service of all living entities. But since this knowledge is lacking in Mayavada philosophy, Mayavadis do not have knowledge even of their relationship with God. They wrongly think that everyone is God or that everyone is equal to God. Therefore, since the real position of the living entity is not clear to them, how can they advance further? Although they are very much puffed up being liberated, Mayavada philosophers very shortly fall down again to material activities due to their neglecting the lotus feet of the Lord. That is called Patanti Ada. ये अन्ये अरविंदाक्ष विमुक्ता मानिनास् त्वय्या अस्तभवदाद् अविशुद्ध बुद्धया आरुह्य कृच्छेन परम पदम तथा पतन्ति अदो अनर्धा यस्मुद् अंग्रह्या. Here it is said that persons who think themselves liberated but do not execute devotional service, not knowing their relationship with the Lord, are certainly misled. One must know his relation with the Lord and act accordingly. Then the fulfillment of his mission will be possible. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Aruhya Krichena Param Padam Tata Patanti Adho Nadrita Yusmad Angraya. So that means what he's saying this was, unless we understand our relationship with Krishna, everything will be misled. So we have to identify what is our relationship with Krishna. Here only it is saying, right? This is the relationship. Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. We are eternally servant and he is eternally master. Yes. Yeah, we'll read one or two verses and then we'll go to sloka recitations. Saraswati Mata, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. If one develops his love of Godhead and becomes attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, gradually he loses his attachment to everything else. Purport. This is a test of advancement in devotional service. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 42 shloka, Bhaktihi pare shanubhavo viraktir anyatra cha. In bhakti, a devotee's only attachment is Krishna. He no longer wants to maintain his attachment to many other things. Although Mayavadi philosophers are supposed to be very much advanced on the path of liberation, we see that after some time they descend to politics and philanthropic activities. Many big sannyasis who were supposedly liberated and very advanced have come down to materialistic activities, although they left this world as mithya, false. When a devotee develops in devotional service, however, he no longer
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Suddenly, I mean, we didn't hear Mataji. Continue.
No, Prabhuji. However, he no longer has attachment to such philanthropic activities. He is simply inspired to serve the Lord, and he engages his entire life in such service. This is the difference between Vaishnava and Mayavada philosophers. Devotional service, therefore, is practical, whereas Mayavada philosophy is merely mental speculation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. We'll read with this and conclude it. So, Swapna Mata, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. Love of Godhead is so exalted that it is considered to be the fifth goal of human life. By awakening one's love of Godhead, one can attain the platform of conjugal love, tasting it even during the present span of love. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Mayavadi philosophers consider the highest goal of perfection to be liberation, mukti, which is the fourth perfectional platform. Generally, people are aware of four goals of life: religiosity, dharma; economic development, artha; sense gratification, kama; and ultimately liberation, moksha. But devotional service is situated on the platform above liberation. In other words, when one is actually liberated, mukta, he can understand the meaning of love of Godhead, Krishna Prema. While teaching Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Prabhupada stated,
Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated, Koti Mukta Madhye Durlabha Eka Krishna Bhakta. Out of millions of liberated persons, one may become a devotee of Lord Krishna. The most elevated Mayavadi philosopher can raise to the platform of liberation. But Krishna Bhakti devotional service to Krishna is transcendental to such liberation. Srila Vyasadeva explains this fact in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, 1.1.2. Let me, I will read, Mataji, and you can complete it this. Okay. Yeah. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. So this is the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam. Yeah, then meaning, this is the meaning, Mata, you can read. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Completely rejecting all religions which are materially motivated, the Bhagavata Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are pure in heart. The highest truth in reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. Srimad Bhagavatam, the explanation of Vedanta Sutra, is meant for Paramo Nirmatsaranam, those who are completely aloof from jealousy. Mayavadi philosophers are jealous of the existence of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Vedanta Sutra is not actually meant for them. They unnecessarily poke their noses into the Vedanta Sutra, but they have no ability to understand it, because as the author of the Vedanta Sutras writes his commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is meant for those who are pure in heart. Paramo Nirmatsaranam. If one is envious of Krishna, how can he understand the Vedanta Sutra or Srimad Bhagavatam? The Mayavadis' primary occupation is to offer the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. For example, all Krishna demands are surrender in the Bhagavad Gita. The greatest scholar and so-called philosopher in modern India has protested that it is not to Krishna that we have to surrender. Therefore, he is envious. Since Mayavadis of all different descriptions are envious of Krishna, they have no scope of understanding the meaning of the Vedanta Sutra. Even if they were on the liberated platforms, as they falsely claim, love of Krishna is beyond the state of liberation. A fact stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and repeated here by Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mother. Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami is the comparer of this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He is the author of this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mother. Okay. So this is the line. Anybody remembers the verse? For example, although Krishna is demanding our surrender in the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody remember the sloka from Bhagavad Gita? Where Krishna demands that surrender in Bhagavad Gita. Let me open up this sloka. Yes. Mother is Prabhuji's. Anybody remember the verse?
Sarva dharman parityaj.
Nice. Thank you, Samika. Yes. Krishna
Prabhuji
is
chepparu,
demanding.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mother.
Ram Reddy Prabhuji chepparu, Prabhuji.
Oh, nice. Nice. Ram Reddy Prabhu ki jai. Yes. Krishna demands our surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masuchaha. Just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. And is Bhujandati Dedantunada. Do not fear. Is a pat on the back. Krishna is giving pat on the back on all living entities. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Just surrender unto me. Demanding. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ram Reddy Prabhu. Hari Bol. So you're all see my screen or let me, no, I'm not sharing. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Whoever likes to recite, so we all follow you. Anybody?
I can do it.
Yeah.
No, please do.
Let's just do it. You are able to see my screen, right, Mata?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Are we repeating or are we
Same.
reciting?
Immal atlane edam konjam andarki activity la untadi Mata. Lastly, if you have time, then 1 or 2 devotees then do all the verses.
Then what I'll do is instead of doing one line, I'll start with 2 lines because of the time, and then 2 lines and then 4 lines.
Sure. Translation, who is going to read? Haribol? Translations?
I will read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
7.5 Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param.
Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Please repeat after me, devotees. Okay? Yeah, repeat.
Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param.
Apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param.
Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat.
Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat.
Like at a time. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat.
Apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat.
Yeah, Swapna Mataji, you say wherever comma is there, we'll repeat. Okay? You can do that.
Okay. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna,
Almighty armed Arjuna,
there is another
superior
energy of mine.
superior energy of mind,
which comprises the living entities
which comprises the living entities
for exploiting
who are exploiting
the resources of this material
the resources of this material
inferior nature.
inferior nature.
7.14 दैवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया
दैवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया
मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते
माम् एव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते.
4 lines दैवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते
दैवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया माम् एव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते.
The divine energy of mind,
the divine
energy of mind,
consisting of three modes of material nature,
consisting of the three modes of material nature,
is difficult to overcome.
is difficult to overcome.
But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
Can easily cross beyond it.
7.19 बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते
बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते
वासुदेवः सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः
वासुदेवः सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः
बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः
बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः.
Translation, Prabhuji.
Yes, read it. Yes,
After many births and deaths,
after many births and deaths,
he who is actually in knowledge,
he who is actually in knowledge
surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Such a great soul is very rare.
8th chapter, yes.
8.5 अंतकाले च माम् एव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
अंतकाले च माम् एव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
अंतकाले च माम् एव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम् यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः.
Translation. And whoever
at
the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Such a good.
8.16 आब्रह्मा भुवना लोका पुनरावर्तिनो अर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते
माम् उपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते
ब्रह्मा भुवना लोका पुनरावर्तिनो अर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते
ब्रह्म भुवना लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनो अर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते.
Translation. From the highest planet
in
the material world to the lowest
down to the lowest,
all are places of misery,
all are places of misery,
wherein repeated birth and death
repeated birth and death
takes place. But one who attains my abode,
O
son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Never takes birth again.
9.2 Raja Vidya one second. Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam.
Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam.
Pratyakshavagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam.
Pratyakshavagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam.
Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam. Pratyakshavagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam.
Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Pratyakshavagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam.
Translation,
Prabhuji. This knowledge is the king of education.
This knowledge is the king of education.
The most secret of all secrets.
It's the most secret of all secrets.
It is the purest knowledge.
It is the purest knowledge.
And because it gives direct perception.
And because it gives direct perception
of the self by realization.
Of the self by realization.
It is the perfection of religion.
It is the perfection of religion.
It is everlasting.
It is everlasting.
And it is joyfully performed.
And it is joyfully performed.
9.4 Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina.
Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina.
Matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthita.
Matsani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah.
Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. Matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah.
Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. Matsani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah.
Translation. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded.
The entire universe is pervaded.
All beings are in me.
All beings are in me.
But I am not in them.
I'm not in them.
9.14 Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata.
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
Namastantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate.
सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रता नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते
सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रता नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते.
Translation. Always chanting my glory,
Always chanting my glory,
endeavoring with great determination,
Endeavoring with great determination,
bowing down for me,
bowing
down
down
before
for
me,
me,
these great souls perpetually
this great
His great
soul
soul
perpetually
perpetually
worship me with devotion.
Worship me.
worship
worship me
me.
with devotion.
9.25 यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रता
यान्ति
Yanti
देवाव्रता
Devavrata
देवान्
Devan
यान्ति
Pitrayanti
पितृव्रता
Pitraprabha
यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनो अपि माम्
Bhutani
यान्ति
Yanti
भूतेजा
Bhutani
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रता भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनो अपि माम्
Yanti
Yanti
Devavrata
Devavrata
देवान्
Devan
Devavrata
भूतानि यान्ति
Bhutani Yanti
भूतेजा
Bhuteja Yanti Madhyajinopi Mam.
Translation. Those who worship the demigods
Those who
worship the
worship
demigods
take birth among the demigods.
will take birth among the demigods.
Those who worship the ancestors
Those who worship the ancestors
go to the ancestors.
goes to the ancestors.
Those who worship ghosts and spirits
Those who worship
who
ghosts
worship
and spirits
will take birth among such beings.
will
will
take
take
birth
birth
among such beings.
And those who worship me
And those who worship me
will live with me.
will
will
live
live.
with me.
9.26 पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
तदहं भक्त्युपाहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपाहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति भक्त्युपाहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः.
Translation. If one offers me with love,
If one offers me with love
and devotion
and devotion, a leaf,
a flower,
a flower,
a flute,
a fruit,
or
or
water,
water,
I will accept it.
I will accept it.
9.27 यत् करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्
यत् करोसि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोसि ददासि यत्
यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्
यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्
यत् करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्
यत्
करोसि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत् कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Translation. Whatever you do,
Whatever you do,
whatever you eat,
whatever you eat,
whatever you offer or give away,
whatever you offer or give away,
and whatever austerities you perform,
and whatever austerities you perform,
that
do
do
that.
that, O son of Kunti,
O son
O
of Kunti,
as an offering to me.
as an offering to me.
9.29 Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyah.
Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyah.
Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham.
Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayite teshu chapyaham.
Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyah. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya
ये बचलते तो
समोहम सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्.
Translation. I envy no one.
I envy no one.
Nor am I partial to anyone.
Nor am I partial to anyone.
I am equal to all.
I am equal to all.
But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend.
Unto me in devotion is a friend.
Is in me.
Is in me.
And I am also a friend to him.
I am also a friend to him.
10.8 Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate.
Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah.
Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitah.
Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material words.
I am the source of all spiritual and material world.
Everything emanates from me.
Everything emanates from me.
The wise who perfectly know this,
The wise who perfectly knows this,
engage in my devotional service.
engage in my devotional service,
and worship me with all their hearts.
and worship me with all their hearts.
10.10 Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam.
Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam.
Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te.
Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te.
Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te.
Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te.
Translation. To those who are constantly devoted,
To those who are constantly devoted
to serving me with love,
to
serving me with love,
I give the understanding
I give the understanding
by which they can come to me.
by which they can come to me.
Jai. Thank you, Deepa Mataji. Thank you, Swapna Mataji, for recitation. So, yeah. Thank you all very much. Again, the Lord pronouns Vancha kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrutta ki jai. Prabhupada Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.